The socialist Zohran Mamdani may be on the verge of winning New York City's mayoral election. That is causing a lot of folks to pack their bags and leave, apparently. That's what we hear. Realtors in Connecticut are reporting that bidding wars, like in the COVID days. Real estate guy Pierre Debbas joins me now. First of all, are people selling their homes in New York City and leaving? Is there a rush to get out?
There's not a rush at the moment. The hysteria that's there has been a bit blown out of proportion. You know, I'm a real estate attorney, and our firm focuses on commercial residential transactions. In New York City, we have the largest residential practice in the entire city.
Okay.
So I'm talking to buyers and sellers on a daily basis. There's definitely trepidation, there's definitely concern, but there's no exodus. In 2020, when we had COVID in de Blasio, you had a real exodus. You had a U-Haul truck. Every city block that you saw, there's a U-Haul truck moving people. You're not having that right now. If anything, the market's very healthy in New York City.
So people are buying.
People are buying.
What kind of person is coming into New York and buying a house in Manhattan?
You know, it's largely fueled by the luxury market, and that's one of the negatives that took place. You know, I always say that de Blasio, his policies drove out people more so than COVID. And that trend started there, where everybody wants to be in New York City. New York City, my fear is that when these radical policies keep going further and further, this city becomes more of a pied-à-terre city.
Okay, but wait a second. Rich people are moving in.
Yes,
now,
predominantly those second homes.
Knowing, okay, so they're going to play the six-month trick.
That's correct.
The rich come to Manhattan, stay for 1 day less than 6 months and leave.
And don't pay taxes and enjoy other fruits and beauty of the city.
That's what's... Okay. Now, we talked about Connecticut as being a place which people want to go to as opposed to New York City. Why Connecticut?
Greenwich has always been a hub for Wall Street and financial institutions. Many hedge funds and financial institutions moved out to Greenwich, and the ones that work in the city. It's a great commute, and it's an extraordinarily beautiful and affluent neighborhood. That's really it.
Okay, and the rich are moving to Greenwich, as they've always moved to Greenwich. Done. Why do real estate people think that rent control, if it were to be announced in New York City, why do you think it would be so bad?
It's absolutely disastrous. And when you go back to 2019, Bill de Blasio enacted the most sweeping changes of our rent regulations in New York City history. And what that did is it made it cost prohibitive for landlords to improve and renovate their properties and maintain them in a habitable manner. Now, Mamdani wants to come in and freeze rents. There has to be an incentive for people to come in and buy properties, manage properties, and create housing. If you're going to have rent freezes, where is capital going to come from other parts of the country to want to invest in New York City multifamily housing? And the only way to create additional supply and affordable housing is through incentivizing development. Over-regulation creates nothing but headache and turmoil. Having reasonable regulation with financial incentives where the parallels of society between corporate America and social welfare intersect, that's the only way you can do this. So these rent freezes, if he goes through with this, will be an absolute catastrophe.
Okay, well, you talk to people who are buying or selling their real estate in Manhattan. You talk to them every day.
That's right.
Do they all mention Mamdani, the socialist?
Well, a lot of them mention Mamdani, the communist, because when you do think about these policies that we're talking about, large part of what he's trying to do in these rent freezes, when, again, you take back to 2019, rent-stabilized housing dropped in value by 50%. The value of these buildings dropped by half, Stuart. If you come in and bring rent freezes, that value is going to drop to 10 cents on the dollar. And he has been very vocal about his desire to have socialized housing. What is socialized housing? It's government-controlled housing. The government owns the properties and controls the housing stock. That's what he wants. So if you over-regulate and you drive values down to 10 cents on the dollar, the government is prone to swoop in, acquire these properties, and fulfill his dream of socialized housing, which is communism.
Quickly, a new report from Real Deal. It says that 1 in 3 Manhattan condos sold for a loss over the last year.
That's right.
Is that what you're seeing?
Absolutely. You know, in New York, the last decade, values have been rather flat. And that's because we had a large boom 10, 15 years ago, and prices have peaked. And also because demand has been rather inconsistent because of all the turmoil that's happened in the city in the last 5, 6 years.
But you're not unhappy in the real estate business in Manhattan, are you?
It's picking up. Luckily, even with all these concerns, it is very active. The last 3 months have been the most active I've seen it on the residential side since 2021.
Well, the saving grace here is that he won't be able to get done all that he wants to get done. He's not going to raise taxes.
That's right.
He can't raise corporate taxes.
That's right.
I'm not so sure they can actually freeze rents.
God willing, he can't. But I think that's what most people, that's why you're not seeing this exodus that the papers are claiming, because most people realize he's not going to get past 90% what he's claiming. Unfortunately, a lot of it's a false narrative.
Fascinating stuff. Pierre Debbas, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Stay right there. I've got other stuff coming.